Since 2010, I have been a business consultant helping small businesses thrive online with things like lead generation, brand development, nurturing and follow-up systems, and most recently, I've been helping them implement things like AI inside of their business. But through my tenure in helping so many small businesses, having managed well over a book of business of over $10 million in advertising spend in the past 15 years of having been doing this, there are 10 key principles that don't cost a single thing that you can implement into your business today, and it's going to virtually guarantee that you make more money from your clients from this point forward. Let's get started. I asked myself recently, why is it that sometimes we see that there are some people that just appear to be nice, lucky, they have it all together. And it really boiled down to understanding the 10 principles that they have already mastered that they may be doing all by themselves without ever noticing. And this is what helps them become more influential. It helps them become more attractive, more magnetic. And it also gives them an opportunity to earn more money from their clients and from the people that they service just because they apply these 10 exact things. The very first principle that we're going to talk about today is being on time. I can't tell you how many meetings I have been a part of through the years of me being in business and having been consulting with small businesses, where I've noticed that if you don't show up on time, or if you're just not on time, you're simply not going to get the respect or the response from the people that you were hoping to get. See, one of the key things that's actually under your control is how often you show up and how you show up in front of people. First impressions are absolutely everything, right? So whenever you show up on time, what you're letting the other person know is that A, you value who they are, you value their time, and most importantly, you want to make the most out of that amount of time that you have with them, so therefore you're not going to be wasteful in any capacity or extent. You see, my mom used to tell me this: if you want to be early, you arrive 15 minutes prior to the meeting started and you are on time. If you actually arrive on time, it means that you're already late. And well, if you're late, you might as well just pack your bags and go home. So the very first principle that we want to understand here that costs you absolutely nothing when it comes to business development and building relationships with people is genuinely understanding exactly that when you show up on time, you are showcasing a reflection of how you carry yourself in business and in life. Whatever it is that you do, understand that showing up on time lets other people know that you are serious about what you're doing. You are very serious about what you want to achieve with them and for them. And it also puts you in a position where you can be better prepared. The second principle, while you might not be as good looking as I am, is going to be smiling when you meet people. When you smile and you meet people, what you actually do is you help them open up. They don't become so closed off about, what it is that you guys were going to talk about. They don't become apprehensive about having a conversation with you. And most importantly, what happens is when you greet people with a smile, they tend to smile back. This allows for everybody's hearts and everybody's emotions and energy to just shift in a way that they are going to be more open to the idea of having a conversation with you. They're going to be more joyful throughout the entire conversation with you. And most importantly, when you smile at people and they smile back at you, what you are letting them know is like, hey, I want you to be a part of my environment and I want you to be a part of my world. And by you doing this, what you're doing is you're enabling other people to also be part of your world, to also be part of your community. So make sure that you're always smiling whenever you're calling people, whenever you're meeting people. One of the key exercises that I've implemented into my business and something that we do with all of our sales direct representatives is before you dial, you're smiling. So smile and dial. You guys have heard that good old adage. If you are currently in the sales role, you want to make sure that every single time you jump on the phone, you're smiling. If you are meeting face to face with people, before you go and actually meet that person, apart from showing up on time, make sure that you are smiling. And that, my friends, is going to make you a ton of money because there's so many people that take themselves way too serious and never smile. And because of that, they just don't build that reciprocity with people. They don't build that relationship with people. You want to make sure that you're in a position to build an awesome relationship, and your smile is the key and the gateway and the door for people to start doing those things with you. The best tune you will ever hear from any one person that you ever meet is somebody saying your name. So principle number 3 is remembering people's names and saying their name. It is everybody's favorite word, favorite tune, favorite song. So it's essential for you to go into conversations with people in business and always remember their names. One of the key principles that has helped me achieve this and accomplish it very well, because I used to suck at remembering names, I should say. When I used to suck at remembering names, I used to make excuses as to why I wouldn't remember their name. I used to just blatantly forget their name and just tell them like, hey dude, I forgot your name. But it wasn't until one of my mentors said, if you remember people's names, they're also going to make an effort to remember your name. And when I started doing this, it changed everything drastically. So here's what you do. Whenever you meet somebody and you want to remember their name, you associate it with another word that kind of sounds like it. If you meet Jake, you associate that with bake, Jake and bake, right? And on top of that, you also repeat their name back to them. So like, oh, hey Jake, good to meet you. How are you, Jake? What do you do, Jake? When you have the ability to really connect with people by using their name, what you're letting them know is that you pay attention to them, you want to be present in the conversation with them, and you're also singing their favorite song. You're singing their favorite tune. Their favorite word is something that you're actually using to your advantage. So if you are in the world of business, or you're simply in the world where you have to talk to professionals all the time, you want to make sure that you remember people's names. If you don't remember people's names, what's going to happen is you yourself are not going to be as memorable as you think or as you wish you were. What happens is you forget people's names, they forget your name. You remember people's names, they start remembering your name. And by you remembering people's names, you're letting them know that you mean business. By you smiling at them, you're letting them know that you mean business. And most importantly, by you remembering their names, you're letting them know that you are a true professional. Since I was a little boy, my grandma taught me to treat others the way I want to be treated. So not only do I try to remember their names and I'm always smiling at them and I show up for them on time, but I also make sure that I treat people the way I want to be treated. One of the best things that you can go ahead and do is make sure that you're always clear about your intentions with people. This way, you set clear expectations with them from the very get-go, and this allows you the opportunity to connect with them from a genuine standpoint. You're never bullshitting them in any shape or form. You're actually communicating with them based on everything that you mean and that you stand behind. This gives you an opportunity to start a relationship the way that you want to start it. This gives you an opportunity to talk and communicate with them the way you would like them to communicate with you. And it helps you set the standards so that no matter what happens, you're always taking the time to make sure you treat others the way that you want to be treated. If you want people to be disrespectful to you, be disrespectful to them. But I don't think that's going to get you very far. However, if you want people to recognize you, to treat you with love, to treat you with respect, you have to give. And always remember that life gives more to the giver than it does to those who simply look to take. You see, I'm very fortunate to be in the world of sales. So in the world of sales, one of the most important things to do is to follow up. And if you learn to follow up with people, what you're doing is you're not only doubling down on a skill set that's going to be useful and very helpful for you inside of the world of sales, but what you're also doing is you're giving yourself the opportunity to not let relationships that you want to build fall through the cracks. Here's what I mean. So many times we meet people at networking events, so many times we shake hands and we never get their name, and we never get them saved as a contact, nor do we set up a follow-up meeting. So one of the key things that I can tell you about follow-up is anytime you have an opportunity to connect with somebody that you genuinely want to build a relationship with, that you genuinely want to build a rapport with, make sure that you book a meeting from the meeting. Why you do this is because you might have met them at a networking event, but you want to go ahead and connect with them again. They're always going to tell you, yeah, of course, let's go ahead and connect. Let's talk some more. And we all know that's bullshit. We all know that they're going to get busy, they're going to jump right back into their life, and therefore they're not going to actually go through absolutely anything with you. They're just going to forget all about it. You will give them a business card and they'll throw it away. They'll give you a business card, you'll throw it away. But if you actually meet with somebody and you exercise this muscle, which is called follow-up, and you become intentional about it, you're going to see that the more hands you shake, the more money that you make. One of the key ways that I apply this every single day is if I meet somebody that is doing something really cool that I would like to learn more about, that I would like to collaborate with them on, or maybe there's an opportunity for us both to work together on these same things, What I actually do is I book a meeting from that meeting, meaning I let them know, look, I'm a very intentional person, so if we want to genuinely connect the way that we're both speaking about connecting here right now, let's go ahead and actually book a meeting from this meeting. So immediately I open up my calendar and I make them open up their calendar, and then we both jump in on a Zoom call or meet again in person, whatever needs to take place. But I make sure that every single time I meet somebody I want to connect with, I book a meeting from the meeting. And that, my friends, is a skill that, again, it doesn't cost you absolutely anything except for the sheer intention of being intentional about the people that you meet and how you stay connected with them. Another skill set that's going to take you very far and doesn't cost you a thing is doing your research. You see, one of the key things that I learned about myself is that I love doing research, but I'm not very good at it. So what I ended up doing is whenever I have a meeting with somebody, I delegate that task to my executive assistant and I have her look people up on my behalf, find their social media, their Instagram, their Facebook, their LinkedIn, latest articles, things that may have happened to them, some of their latest Facebook posts, and then I get a deep file. Inside of this file, what I do is I actually study it. I go in and I verify the information is correct. And with that information forward, I get to know the person that I'm going to meet. Understanding and doing the research before you meet somebody that's very important is key for you to learn to build and develop relationships in a way that are going to be fruitful for you, not just right now, but also in the future. So one key thing that I would recommend for you, and anytime that you're going to meet somebody important, is take the time to do some research. Do the research, learn a little bit about them, and learn how you can support them. And from that point forward, my friend, what you're going to see is you're going to see an easier flow of conversations that you will have with people. The seventh thing that will cost you nothing, but people are dying to give you their money for, is going to be responding quickly. One of the best things that you can do is work on your reputation and how people perceive you and how people get to know you. So one of the key things that I do, for example, is I make sure that whenever I book a meeting, whenever I'm talking with people anywhere, in any shape or form, that I'm following up quickly. One way that you can go ahead and do this is be present in the moment and be candid about your communication. Be candid enough to say, look, I'm getting really busy right now, so this means I'm going to follow back up with you in a couple of hours. Or simply say, hey, I noticed your message, I read your message, I will get back to you. And then get back to them immediately, right? One of the best things that you can do is make sure that people feel as though your time and their time is in the same frequency and that you're valuing exactly what they're giving you. So if they're responding to you quickly and you're responding to them quickly, you're going to be able to move conversations much further and much faster. But at the same time, you can build a reputation for yourself as the person that genuinely cares, is there to build relationships, and most importantly, somebody that replies quickly. This is a skill set that doesn't cost you a single thing, but it'll help you quite a bit if you simply apply it. It doesn't cost you a dime to respond to people on a quick enough basis. And if you don't know how to respond to them, you can simply let them know, hey, I got your message, I will respond shortly, I'm currently doing X. Set expectations with people, let people know that you have seen them, let people know that you have heard them, that you read their message, and make sure that you build a reputation of somebody that constantly communicates back in a quickly manner. So God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, and that's because we should listen a lot more than we speak. So this brings us to point number 8. People are dying to give you money by simply listening to them. If you learn to listen to people, they will tell you exactly what they need, how you can support them, how you can help them, how you can be there for them, and they'll also tell you all the things that they are willing to do with you if you simply take the time to listen and understand. Most of us learn to listen only to respond. And the best way that I can illustrate this with you is think of yourself as a brick or a sponge. If you're a brick and somebody's pouring into you, what's going to happen? You're not going to pay attention, you're not going to listen, and therefore you're actually not consuming any of the information, therefore nothing sticks with you, you're not helpful. But if you're a sponge, you actually get the time to listen to somebody, to absorb everything that they are telling you, to analyze it, and know how to give back, know how to respond back. So be a sponge, don't be a brick when it comes down to listening. As we get to the last bit of it, one of the key things that I'm reminded of is that the most important thing that we have in this world, apart from the breath that we breathe, is our word. So learn to keep your word. If you tell somebody that you're going to send them an email, make sure that you send that email. If you tell somebody that you're going to shoot them a text, make sure you shoot that text. If you say something is going to get done, make sure it gets done. And if it's not, make sure that you're communicating ahead of time so that the expectations never fall through the cracks. One of the best things that you can do that people are dying to give you money for is learning to keep your word. You're always going to make promises. You're always going to say that you want things to get done and that you want to achieve certain things. Make sure that if you are going to make these promises, that you have somebody to hold you accountable and somebody that helps you deliver them, so that way you're never faltering on your word. And once I applied this, and the way that I applied this was by hiring an executive assistant and hiring a virtual assistant so that they can both help me execute on these things, and that way my word never actually falls through the cracks. And the last thing that people are dying to do with you in order to give you money and to pay you for is gratitude. The world is very negative. The world wants us to think that there's this narrative that the world and everything around us is working against us, but that's not true. And if you're one of the people that is listening to this video to the very end, you know that for a fact because you're a very grateful person. So the one thing that you can do for other people is show gratitude every single day. Show gratitude for the life that you live, show gratitude for everything that you have, and learn to pass and transfer that feeling onto other people. More often than not, people are getting bogged down with their own shit. So when you learn to be a grateful person and you pass that gratitude onto other people, they are going to be grateful for you, for your mindset, for your ability to help them see things in the gain of things, in the things that they do have, that they have accomplished, and everything that has helped them become who they are, instead of thinking of themselves in the gap, meaning all the things that are missing, all the things that they don't have. Be the kind of person that inspires gain thinking, which is simply think about all the good I have, and be the type of person that teaches people to stay away from gap thinking, which is again thinking of everything that is missing. It's always going to be available for us to look for the good and look for the bad, so make sure that you're the kind of person that teaches people to look for the good in everything that they do. These are very simple but powerful habits that you can go ahead and apply into your business and into your life any day now. You could simply start by choosing the one that you actually want to work on today, and make sure that you guys subscribe to this video and let me know in the comments exactly what's the one habit that you're going to be working on. For me, it's very important to practice what I preach and to always lead by example. So one of the key things that I'm actually practicing more of than anything else today is gratitude, because for a little while, as you can see throughout this entire video, I'm sitting here talking to you, pushing a cart. I'm pushing Eva around. I'm giving her little morning walk. And one of the key things that happened when she was born for me is I became very tired for the very first time in my life. I was tired, I couldn't sleep, and this got me into this gap mind of thinking. And I was realizing like, man, I don't have all of these things, none of these things are happening for me. And that led me down a negative spiral. But it wasn't until I found my gratitude again and I started journaling these things and I started noticing how I kept my word with people, how I treated other people, how much I cared, how much I smiled, how I kept showing up on time despite of how I felt. Then I started realizing that this is all part of the growth and the process, right? So make sure that you guys subscribe.